The application was done procedurally, and the nominee is here on the basis of that.
Chair, but an engineer he can defend himself, Chair. He can defend himself.
This process is a constitutional requirement, and as human capital consultant and partner at Deloitte, Kimani Njoroge says, is a step in the right direction for Kenya. Political scientist Mutahi Ngonyi agrees, but has reservations about the expected outcome of the exercise.
The vetting process, in my view, is a democratic process or practice that is overrated, completely overrated.
Have you been subject to any integrity-related inquiry of any nature, of any kind?
No.
Not at all?
No.
So in my view, the vetting committees are nothing but catwalks, where you have appointed people working, doing catwalks in front of these showbiz. And that's about it all, because we've seen people going there who have been known to eat corruption, and they're drooling in their mouth with it, and you can see it. But nobody really cares whether or not you are, because an instruction has already been given. So in my view, this is just one of those things you need to go, you tick the box and say, we have vetted, and that's it. But that was not the constitutional intention of this vetting process, in my view.
With the ghost of a multi-billion water scandal still hanging around her, although she was cleared by the relevant parliamentary committee, Charity Ngilo strode into the vetting room confident to explain the begging questions to the vetting committee, just as her colleagues with equally serious allegations of graft did.
Everything that was being done were people who were fighting back, either politics or they were just fighting back because there are certain things that I would not allow to go on in the Ministry of Water.
What happened to this 1 billion?
Since you are nominated, so many Kenyans have sent messages questioning your tenure at Telcom. The employees you left there are not happy. The ones at Bon Voyage are not happy.
Human resource consultant Kimani Njoroge believes if individuals with allegedly questionable records secure such influential positions, it will come back to haunt the government.
There are some things that we cannot compromise, and one is integrity.
And every member give his own contribution.
But when the committee that vetted the cabinet secretary nominees eventually tabled its report on the floor of the House, it's the candidate who reportedly excelled on the integrity score but did not eloquently express herself and her capabilities that became the subject of debate and perhaps the red herring.
You may say, and I don't know what is the shyometer, Mr. Speaker, that she's shy. But the person who is going to project the image of this country to tourists must be somebody who is not shy.
We are not saying Kante is not qualified. We say Kante is not suitable.
The stone that the builders rejected eventually became the cornerstone. That woman, that lady, is fit for that hold office.
And so Kandie eventually sailed through. Parliament essentially delivered the whole package untouched to the president for appointment. Not that his Jubilee coalition dominates the House.
It is felt that what did hold water were partisan interests, and the issue of the tyranny of the majority is what actually played out.
If you're nominated by the president and his deputy, it doesn't matter whether they vet you and say you have not passed, or whether they say you've passed with flying colors. It is inconsequential. This is a political decision that has been made, and the vetting committees are just rubber stamping institutions. They've been told, Nyinyi, you do the way we want it done. That's the way politics is supposed to be. And in this case, then we make nonsense of this vetting process.
The vetting cannot be a rubber stamping exercise.
Is there something that should come out of this vetting process?
I think there must be more than just a formality in the process. The people vetting them must look for at least 2 critical areas that the candidate must pass. One is on the technical areas. What is the experience and what is the relevance of the experience?
My track record as a reformer is not in doubt.
The other key element is the leadership and management skills of the nominees.
I am not intimidated by generals.
Certain political decisions have got to be made.
If I was doing the vetting myself, the first thing I would have asked is, do you have the political acumen to handle a cabinet position? You have been a bank manager. You have been, and a bank manager is basically a glorified teller who grew to be the head of all bank tellers. And if you're a glorified teller, do you have the acumen to handle a crisis from Al-Shabaab, for instance?
Mr. Speaker, I'm known. When it comes to corruption, I lead by being in front, not from being behind.
Every government must have a charlatan, must have a cartoon. And this is good for comic relief. And at least the appointment of that guy was one very brilliant move as the third political person, in my view.
I want to insist that as committee members, we are going to vet. And this is not subject to discussion.
It's arguably the fallacy of the vetting exercise that has seen unsuitable candidates sail through.
The vetting committees end up becoming pretty much a house of circus and not anything, just to give us some kind of melodrama, the Nigerian kind of dramas. And Kenyans love these kind of bloodletting dramas where we are tearing people apart. And that is the value, that's the only value this committee has. It has absolutely no other value in as far as I'm concerned.
On Tuesday morning, Parliament will have a special session to approve or reject reports from the different departmental committees that vetted President Kenyatta's principal secretary nominees. Will they all sail through? The jury is out there. Sylvia Chebet, Citizen Weekend.